The next issue I want to touch on is the Second Amendment.
That might be the easiest one of all, if you want to know. That might be the easiest one out.
South Carolina is a very pro-Second Amendment state, and I travel the state, and I talk to many law-abiding citizens who own firearms, and they are very concerned. This is what they're telling me, of the knee-jerk reactions of those in Washington, D.C. who want to restrict their right to bear arms because of the horrible and terrible actions of a few, some of who are mentally ill or even terrorists. What are your views on the Second Amendment in light of this?
The Second Amendment will be totally protected if and when I become president. That I can tell you. Totally protected. Totally protected. Totally protected. You know, we have a horrible situation that took place a week ago in California. Now, they came in, they shot 14 people. Others are dying right now. You'll have more because they're very badly wounded. If I were in I have a right to carry. I'm a member of the NRA. My sons are members long time. They're much better. They're much better shots than I am, I will tell you. They're actually really good, but they're members. But if I were there, if you were there, if anybody here that had a weapon, if you were in that room, those people wouldn't have shot 14 people. We might have gone down fighting, but they're going down with us, okay? They're going down. And, no, think of it. These two animals walked into a room and started shooting. Now, take a look at Paris, okay? Paris. Paris is essentially gun-free. It's the hardest place, I've read, just about in the world. One of the hardest places to have a gun. France, one of the hardest places to have a gun. Okay. Now what happens is these people walk in. And the biggest problem with the press, they call them by the wrong name. They said the mastermind, the mastermind. And then they hear about kids are being recruited to go into ISIS. They'll never recruit these guys up front. Stand up, kids. They're never recruiting these guys. These are hardliners. They're not being recruited. Okay. But think of it. They're young, impressionable, and they're watching television, and they're hearing about the mastermind. I called him the guy with the dirty hat. He was a disgusting guy. They called him the mastermind. And the kids are hearing about the mastermind. He's probably a guy with a very low IQ. He's probably dumb as a rock. What did he do? He got people to walk into a room, and a number of rooms in the case of Paris, and start shooting everybody. And the press goes, the mastermind, we're under surveillance, we think we have... You don't call him mastermind anymore, fellas, because he's not a mastermind. And they glorify him. You know, they make him like Robin Hood. The press glorifies these people, and they got to stop. And I've been saying this for a week, and I haven't heard the word mastermind for a while. It's really amazing, because they understand. Look, if somebody were in that room in Paris, you had 130 some odd people killed, many people dying right now, seriously large numbers wounded that are going to be dying. If you had a few people with guns in that room, roped on, taped onto their ankle, put on their belt buckle, put up here, put anywhere, so a little firepower would be going in the other direction, you wouldn't have had 100 and some odd people killed. You wouldn't have had it. You wouldn't have had it. And it's so simple. And by the way, if the so-called mastermind, the moron, the guy, if he knew that people were in there with guns, they wouldn't have been there. They wouldn't have been there. Well, Alan, one of the things I would do very early on, you know, in this country, we have these crazy rules. We had 5 soldiers killed very recently on a military base. One of them was an extraordinary, highly decorated marksman. All of them were very good. One was like extraordinary. He was like, you know, champion and top of the line. He wasn't allowed to have a gun. And it was a gun-free zone on a base. And this whack job walks into the base and kills 5 of them. Just boom, 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 boom. And they're sitting there helpless. And these are great soldiers. These are elite. And they were helpless. One of the earliest things I do is on military bases, immediately, there's no more gun-free zones. There's no more gun-free zones. No more. And, and just to finish off on Second Amendment, there's plenty of rules and regulations already for guns, believe me. But, you know, they have a rule now in New York, they want to have very few. You have a magazine and it holds a lot of bullets. They want to have no more than 7. So the good guys, and then now they want to bring it down to 3. So the good guys are going to say, they're going to say, okay, we'll have 3. Do you think the bad guys are going to say, well, you know, the law says, I'm going to kill people now, but the law says that I can only have 3. I think I'll put in how about I'll put in as many as I can possibly have. It is just so stupid. But I argue with people, and they're smart people, and they're friends of mine, and they're into the whole, you know, gun control movement. And I just give an example, Paris. I say, wouldn't it be better if you had 5 or 6 of those people that happen to have guns, and they can't answer me? They just can't. I used the other day a real guy who's always fighting for, you know, gun control and take everybody's guns away, because they'll take your guns away, but the bad guys are always going to have the guns. You're not going to have any guns. So I had a debate with him in front of a group of people that was sort of like didn't care about the issue that much, okay? Frankly, there are people that don't, you know, but most people do. I care about it a lot. But let me just tell you, I had a debate in front of this group of people, and I just creamed it. There's no way they can win that debate. Because if in California there was even 1 gun, 2 guns, 3 guns, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. So, and they can't justify it. And yet at the end of that debate, he got clobbered, didn't change his mind. So these are people, they want to take your guns away, folks. They want to take your guns away. They want to take your ammunition away. That's the new one. They're finding out, you know, Alan, they're finding out they can't take the gun. Let's take the ammunition. Because, you know, there's so many different things. It's very hard playing around too much with the Second Amendment. But all of a sudden somebody comes up, I don't know if you've heard the idea of the bullets. We're not taking the gun. We're going to make it impossible to get bullets. I'm president. Believe me, folks. Second Amendment stays.